All right, so we'll just start then. I'm not gonna read it off. Cool. You ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. All right, we are now live on Facebook. I am here with Brian Lovering, and today we're going to talk about concepts for intentional business progressions. Brian, thank you so much for being here with me today on Zoom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great to
So,
be here, man. Love this
yeah,
community. There's so many
yeah,
fun things going
it's a good group. The Freedom Initiative is a really good group of entrepreneurs, coaches, experts, consultants. We connected in this group, and what I really like about this space is that there's a lot of really good, authentic conversations happening about different problems in business, different problems in the coaching industry, which leads us to our conversation today. What exactly are we here to talk about? What exactly do you mean by concepts for intentional business progressions?
on. Oh, man. It's like a top. You can wind me up and off we go.
Yeah.
So let's do this thing. Intentional business progression. It's more like one of those things where your business should be on autopilot. You shouldn't have to think about what you're going to get up to do. Your day should be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're new and you don't know what to do or how to do it, people get lost in all the weeds.
Mm-hmm.
They get messed up in, oh well, I got to do the coaching, or I got to do the course creation, or I got to do the filming, or I got to do the editing, or I got to do the funnel, and I got to do the graphics, and I got to do all of these various things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it from a different perspective, what one action can you do now that leads to those four things? So it
Mm-hmm.
changes how you structure. So by doing the interview, we get the video clips, so I don't need to do the filming on my own. So it
Mm-hmm.
saves time.
Mm-hmm.
So an interview here saves time for me to do it on my own that I would be replicating the same words or context, where now it's an organic development instead of a scripted mess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's one step of intentional design. The second one would be like, I need pictures and graphics and I need to get all of these things taken care of, right? Well, how am I going to do that? Well, screenshots work a lot better when things are actually happening, right? Go back and take photos of like the screen of what's going on. That way you get ideas of what you're doing, right? You can see how it's going and you can edit those later. Because if you do it the first time and get it out there, right? Like Dean Graziosi says, you get imperfect action. Better to do
Mm-hmm.
it today than sit there and wait a week and not have it come out ever because you didn't like the content. Don't hit the delete button when you go live. It's getting that kind of courage, getting, you know, all of that stuff, which 2 years ago I didn't have. Like, I wouldn't get in front of the camera to save my life. I would just do email copy. All my shit was just, there was no personal interaction. There was none of the camera. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all of this interaction was training.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to do each step one after the other without wasting effort, there's a few considerations that people can have. And it's in business, they're called schema. They're not blueprints. It's more like a
Mm-hmm.
question you ask yourself. And you can build whatever structure that you make as a result of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 9 basic principles and 3 or 4 tiers of operation, essentially making you 36 different questions that you can ask yourself off of just 13 things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That allows for 36 different ways to view the same piece of copy, the same piece of content, the same graphic, the same every single thing that you need to do in order to be able to deliver it to your marketplace. So one
Mm-hmm.
thing becomes 36 things. Your business can then be broken down into 36 different layers instantaneously just by thinking about these things. Like the tiers of operation, what are you trying to sell?
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to learn in order to sell it properly?
Mm-hmm.
How do you teach it? And how do you teach people to integrate it into other industries outside of the one that you're in so they still get the benefit?
Mm-hmm.
4 questions, right? First step that you do is, what does it relate to in terms of your business process, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that are required? What is your scripted stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves the level one scripts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was a retailer, we had the morning list and the closing list. So in the morning, the first thing on the list was turn on the open sign, turn on the lights, turn on the all the AC, get all the displays moving, get the register signed in, get all these things done, right? Unlock the
Mm-hmm.
front door is the last thing. reverse that order, and then you have the closing list. So there was a script at the beginning of the day and the end of the day until it
Mm-hmm.
got routine and nobody started missing steps.
Mm-hmm.
When people didn't, they'd stop vacuuming, or the quality of the store would go down and things like that. So keeping a scripted to-do list is super easy,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not the whole part of it. And
Right,
all of these
right.
business people that are out there that are teaching, oh, just follow the script, or oh, just do this, or just this one thing is all you need. No, motherfuckers, no. You know, don't lie to your people.
Yeah.
Don't cover that shit up. It's like, no, you don't just need one funnel. You need one funnel on this subject. You need one funnel on that subject. You need to have the topic you're doing over here relate to the thing over here, right? And so when you lead people through whatever it is, whatever your system is, your path of transformation, that's the second consideration. What is the path of transformation?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to get to use your stuff the best? And what are the rituals? What are the methodologies? What are the rote principles that you can deliver back to them?
Mm-hmm.
That's so ingrained in who you are, you don't even need a script to talk
Mm-hmm.
about this stuff, because
Mm-hmm.
these are broken record conversations,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the third step, when I'm talking to certain audiences, it's a spiritual concept between you and the divine. It's what are you interpreting? What are you downloading from the heavens, right? To give you that inspiration to see how this situation that your business is going to be dealing with, or you're dealing with a customer in live time,
Mm-hmm.
what is going to be the best application of steps 1 and 2? The script and the organic development that you would naturally progress through.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you apply that directly back to your customer? Next one is your first client work, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've never taken a client, you've never had a coaching job, you've never had anybody to do anything. How do you find them,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That's the hardest part for 90% of the coaches.
Yeah.
And if you hang out in groups like these, right? Like I was in another one, it was all spiritualists, right? We're hanging out. We got a weekly thing going where we would hang out every night in an open chat room. We would go live once a week. All of us had a different story we were telling,
Mm-hmm.
different types of stuff we were talking about, and then we would come together and then we would hang out on each other's Zooms, and it was a great old community. And we hang out almost, we got a chat thread going that we're always talking, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do stuff simple like that to connect with one or two people
Mm-hmm.
about what they're already doing, and then you integrate what you're doing into what they're doing. So there's step 4. There's
Yeah.
step 5,
Mm-hmm.
because then you can pull customers out, and then you could do 1-to-1. Then you get to 1-to-many, right? So how does your message go from this situation here with this individual suffering in this condition in this way with your solution now in hand? That's going to be different from what you have to talk to a group about. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're talking to a group, you can only talk about the methodologies that are going to work for the most people, which
Yeah.
again goes back to step 2, which is your broken record conversation.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's this non-linear interaction between these concepts, and then you get a robust organic development that it doesn't take. Oh my God, I have to have this blueprint perfect, or oh my God, I have to have this webinar scripted thing done, or I have to put all of this shit together. It becomes a natural methodology of you're just going through the course of your day and
Mm-hmm.
everything falls in alignment.
Mm-hmm. That's
You
really
know?
good. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so important. I talk to a lot of individuals who feel lost. They're not sure what daily things they should be doing to move their business forward. And I like the imperfect action statement that you mentioned. I strongly believe in this one that imperfect action leads to clarity. Not taking action, not taking any sort of action, well, you just remain stagnant and stuck. So, one thing you've talked about multiple times is scripting and schema. And I haven't heard anyone refer to these things as you do. So, for individuals who are not exactly sure what you mean by scripting, can you break it down again? What is scripting and how can it benefit individuals in their businesses?
Okay, so a simple script would be a pattern of thing that you always do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I had a phone conversation with somebody,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, "Hey, thank you for calling the name of my shop. Is there something? What can we help you with today? Right? What are you
Mm-hmm.
looking for?" And they would usually say it. But at the end, part of the scripting would always include, and do you know where we're located? Where are you located? Do you need
Mm-hmm.
directions to get here so that you don't have to worry about the map?
Mm-hmm.
That structure, as simple as it is, 4 or 5 lines only. It doesn't have to be like big old long like sales dialogue bullshit. No, 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 no.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to be the thing that's going to get them to your door quickly as possible that you can remember to say every single time so
Mm-hmm.
that you don't forget?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's important information.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That is
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
What is the stuff that you say so much that you can say in your sleep? And you probably will say it in your sleep if you get to the point where, like, for me, I was, like I said, I was a retailer. 15-hour sales days, some days, from open to close, and all of the same conversations would happen over and over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with everybody that walked in the door, it would never be like, is there something I can help you find today? Because everybody's like, no, 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 we're not looking for anything. And it's like, okay, you can't use what everybody else does when they walk into small boutiques, right? You
Mm-hmm.
got to be something different. It's like, hey, what's up? How are you doing today? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh no, I don't need any help. And it's like, that's not what I asked you. I
Yeah.
asked you how you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was my script to break the ice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they would come in and then we would start to talk about other things. When they were like, oh my God, he's not trying to sell me on something.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you in that they're your friends, not your customers or clients or whatever. Yeah, they're going to spend money with you. They're going to have product and stuff that you're going to have to help them with. Your knowledge and expertise in that field is going to become absolutely paramount.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was an adult retailer. So as you go into those shops, it's overwhelming. You see things in every size, in every color, in all the shapes, and
Sure.
all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Right? That gets terrifying to a lot of people. Making it not so bad is part of the business owner's responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And making it easily digestible is something that a lot of people don't have because they get into these jobs where
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to talk to the public, right? A lot of entrepreneurs and stuff are either working for other people, they're in cubicles, and they've never had to do a sales job. They've never had to be out there, their will, their word, with another person, getting them to do an intentional action. Buy things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about just buying things. It's about buying what they need for that moment. What's that moment that they're looking to create, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for us in our shop, it was, what is it, an anniversary? Is it a birthday? Is it something else? Like Valentine's Day when the guys would come in and they're like, okay, I need to buy 2 of the same thing because I need one for my wife, one for my girlfriend. I don't want to get confused on the button. That happened once already.
Right. Yeah.
It was a bad moment. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of very specific conversation you don't get to have in normal situations.
Right. 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 So scripting, I take it as things that you say or do often enough that it becomes just part of how you interact and engage with customers or things that you have to do to operate your business. But even though it's systematized, even though it is scripted, which is why we're calling it scripting, it doesn't take away from the personalization of your business services, right? Like you
Exactly.
want to script things that keep you unique, that keep you standing apart from other individuals. So I think that's really interesting because it's kind of this balance between staying unique but making sure that you're covering your bases. And this is something really important for people in this group, actually, where a lot of the members of the Freedom Initiative group, a lot of the coaches and the consultants are in this intuitive space where they really value spontaneity. They're really big on care and nurture. Because of that, they do not prioritize things like systems or scripting as much, but it's beneficial. And one thing I talk to a lot of my audience about is how finding that balance between systems and care is so valuable. Because if you're running only on care and intuition and spontaneity, sure, you go with your gut feeling, and that can be great because you can get some amazing results. You can intuitively identify what potential clients or what clients really need and you deliver it in a way that is very personalized, in a way that systems can't do. But if you don't have systems, if you don't have KPIs, if you don't have regular things that you're consistent in your business, then you miss things that are important for moving your business forward. You miss things that are important for customer experience and customer delivery. So I like that what you're talking about here is a way to kind of like maintain that balance.
It's one of the things that I developed over the, like it naturally evolved after I was talking with customers, and that was one of the things that was observed from doing,
Mm,
right? And part of what people need to do is they need to try their product,
mm,
right? They need to go through as a customer of their method. Would they buy from themselves?
mm,
Would they buy their program the way it is?
mm,
Again, it's not, you don't have to script it. You can just ask yourself, what is the customer experience that you're providing? And is it something that's going to be worthwhile enough for somebody else to get the same kind of change that you're looking for? Or that
mm,
you've already caused for somebody else over and over and over again? Because
mm,
again, the stuff that you do in business is like set formulations, right?
mm,
There was the products each had a very specific category in our shop, right? There was the lubricants, there was the toys, there was the outfits, and all of these things. But the
mm,
way that they fit together, and it's the way that the business fits together, we get into number 8, right? What are all the different things that they can do with their products and services? Because, yeah, you have the book, you have the courses, you have the YouTube thing, you have the TikTok, you have all this shit, right, that you have to
mm,
do for business nowadays. But how do they fit and where is it important?
mm.
So there's TikTok videos that I'll send to people that are asking me questions so that I don't have to say the thing over and over and over again,
Right, yeah.
right? It saves me time and allows me to help my customer faster.
Mm, mm, mm,
The YouTube videos, if I'm going to do a lecture on somebody, some topic for somebody, right?
mm,
I'll pull the people that I'm doing it in, film it in Zoom, post it on YouTube, get more comments off the thing, and then I've got a discussion that I can refer people back to.
mm,
So then it becomes, again, the products and services that we produce are the tools by which we serve our people.
mm,
They're not, the goal is to make money on them, yeah, but
mm,
they're how we serve,
mm,
not what we sell.
mm, mm,
And it's slight nuance shifts. It's, you take what you're doing, it's like you got to
yeah.
have the book, you got to have all this stuff,
Mm,
right? But why is the book important? Why is page 200 important? Why do you need to go to page 180? Right? What's on those things? Generic conversation, generic book in that case, right?
mm,
But there
mm.
are passages that relate to customer interaction. There are
Yes.
problems that you have with your customer. The resources that you have created specifically are designed to address those needs and services that they're requiring from you, right? So your product is to act as a salesperson in your stead. So you don't have to have the conversation that bores you to tears,
Mm,
but it gets them doing the shadow work, the labors, the effective. They're going through the method, right?
mm.
They're going through the journey, the transformation, whatever it is, by them learning that material. But they don't have to. It doesn't have to be an inorganic experience.
Right. Yeah. 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 This is good. So I do some of this, and now that we're talking, I know what to call it that I'm doing. So I'm working on a digital course, for example, and I've seen a lot of people do digital course creation completely wrong, where they're creating content, they're putting information in a course that people aren't even asking for, that's not even going to benefit anyone. And
Right.
especially when it comes to paid digital courses, well, they waste time creating something that no one's going to buy. So something that I've been doing that is aligned with this the scripting and the creating of services and information and delivering that in a way that is streamlined and systematized, because any coach, any consultant, any expert, any business owner, I'm sure they've encountered what we're talking about. You're going to get individuals that are asking the same things over and over and over and over again. And you're going to
Yeah.
give the same explanations over and over and over and over again. And it's what you called broken record conversations. And a
Mm-hmm.
broken record, it might not seem like a great thing, but the concept is there. It's just it's what plays over and over and over and over again, right?
Right.
So rather than taking the time to waste your time and energy and effort to explain that again, how can you deliver it in a way that is streamlined and effective? So what I began to do was to do Loom videos. And
Nice.
initially it was personalized Loom videos where I believe in customer experience, I believe in service, and what you said also is that a lot of individuals, they focus so much on the sales that they're not delivering the service that people need before they buy anything. And I believe entrepreneurship is an act of service more than it is about getting sales. And if you
Oh,
focus on the service, it's going to allow individuals to trust you and your brand enough to make a purchase. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I did
oh,
and how this connects to what we're discussing here. So I get these questions in the DMs about personal branding, about organic marketing, and I would say, "Oh, let me send you a Loom video in response to this because that's a really good question, and I can answer you better in a Loom video than I can in just a written message in Facebook." So part of that is allowing people to see my face, to hear my voice, to add that personalized touch that you just can't get from a message in the chat. And initially, I was making it so personalized that I was saying their name and I was really specifically looking through their account or their profile and giving them specific high value information. But then I realized that, hey, these people are asking the same things over and over again. I can make one Loom video that has the same core information, but I can send to anyone who has the same question.
exactly.
So it's personalized, and these people that I'm sending that Loom video to, they don't even know that it's the same Loom video that I'm sharing with 10 plus individuals. They think that I just made it specifically for them maybe 5 minutes ago before I sent it. And then on top of that, I was like, how can I take this a step further? One way I want to support my members, my community, my paying clients is to have a digital course. These Loom videos that I'm doing over and over and over again, the information that I'm sharing over and over and over again, I can polish that up, make it look a little bit nicer, and have it as my digital course content. And it's the same thing. So reverse engineering it, right? Like, what do you say often enough that it's a broken record conversation? And how can you deliver those conversations in a way that has a lot of value for your audience, potential customers, potential clients, and doesn't take up more of your bandwidth?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's,
It's so
it's,
simple.
yeah, it is simple. It is simple. Yeah.
And it's but you program yourself to think like that at every single thing that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way it just becomes so automatic that you don't even think about having to do it anymore. And that's what a schema is. A schema is a system of operations that is so rote and routine. It's like a computer operating system. You hit
Mm-hmm.
the power button, it turns on, everything goes into place.
Mm-hmm.
All the apps load up that are supposed to. You're supposed to go and do, and it gives you that progression. So your business, the more automated it is, the more less new stuff that you're adding to the format that you're using, right? Like you having a Google document with all the Loom videos saved in a spreadsheet so that when that question comes up, you can just see the question. Oh,
Yeah.
it's this one. Boom, there it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you teach people how to do that, then you can really compress time for people, right? It's like I wrote a book 10 years ago that I still teach from today. Like it took me 10 years to write this thing because it was all the different methodologies, the different rituals, the different things for one spiritual tradition that I was
Mm-hmm.
working with, right? And so the people that I connect to are people that find the book on Amazon and they're in my DMs asking me about this stuff. Like I had a guy that I've been working with since December. He hit me up out of the fucking blue,
Yeah.
stole a copy of my book, got a free PDF of it, and now he's part of my community. So it comes in all sorts, man. It's like it doesn't matter where it comes from. If they find you through your work,
Mm-hmm.
you should serve them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, it goes back to service. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
motivated by service, not by the money, you're going to get a lot more opportunity
For
as an
sure.
entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, and so what you're doing, and by helping them, by even allowing me to come on here and talk to your people, you know, it's
Mhm.
all part of that really great service thing that entrepreneurship should do for the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not just about the swanky cars or the big business, right?
Mhm.
The simplest things that you can do are to teach one action, one result.
Mhm.
Get them to do one thing today.
Mhm.
What's that thing that they're going to do tomorrow? Another one thing,
Yeah.
and another one thing. And then soon, by the end of a 5 day challenge, you've got a ladder of progression,
Mhm.
right? You
Mhm.
don't know the ladder before you do it, but if you get into the pattern of what I'm going to do today is this, and then tomorrow I'm going to do this, and then tomorrow I'm going to do this, right? Boom, it's done.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. No, that's really good. Yeah, I'm talking to a lot of individuals that they want to be coaches, they want to be experts, they want to help people, but they fear this imposter syndrome. They feel like they have to have the schema, the scripting, the blueprint all figured out before they take action. And I often tell these individuals, figure it out as you go, but lead with such positive intention and such focus on the delivery that you will find the answers out for your audience and for your customers as you move along. And be completely honest and open with them. Say that, hey, I'm starting this business. I know a lot. I may not have all the answers, but you know what? I'm going to support you the best way I can. And if you come across someone that asks a question that you don't know the answer to, just be honest about it and say that, hey, I think this is the answer to that. Let me double check, let me confirm. And then you go ask your business coach, you ask a mentor, you do a little bit of research, and then you follow up with them saying, hey, I was right. That is the answer. I just want to let you know that what I shared with you, that piece of information you're looking for, that is totally correct. And hey, there's additional information I found for you. Or you found out that you're wrong and you said, actually, what I told you before, that wasn't quite right. This is actually the correct information. And that process becomes part of the scripting. Because when
Right.
people ask you a question that you don't know the answer to or you're unsure of, and you research it and you double check and you fact check, that question that someone asks you in the future, that same question, you're going to deliver high value information. And you can't prepare for every question, every piece of information that people are looking for before they ask for it, right? It's the imperfect action thing. You can't know what actions to take unless people are telling you that they need certain actions from you, right? You cannot be a mind reader. You cannot see the future. But what you can do is, well, it's market research, right? So I tell individuals that are starting their entrepreneur journey to document everything, every discovery call, every strategy call, record everything. Write down the questions that people are asking, write down the information you're constantly giving to people, and those can be your content. Those can be your YouTube videos. Those can be your Loom videos that you send to people when they're asking for the same information over and over again. I think people overcomplicate things. And
Right.
one thing I say is just lead with intention, be honest.
Right.
Sooner than later, you will be an expert, and you'll know because you've been asked these questions so many times that, again, you're having these broken record conversations. And one awesome thing that I realized for myself is you're an expert when you can give these broken record conversations without thinking of it. And you're giving so much high value that people are taking notes when you're talking. You're like, oh, this is pretty good. Like, I think I know a lot about digital marketing. I think I can share a lot of high value. Let me share this over and over again. And then I'm talking with people on Zoom, they're taking notes. I'm like, huh, maybe I'm transitioning from the learner, the student, to an expert, right? But again, I didn't say I was an expert before I knew that people were getting value from it.
You know, it's like when my life fell apart a couple years ago, back when, it's like it just was bad. I had to get out of my retail environment. That's when I started moving over to coaching. But I took a challenge from a guy named Bob Cosberg. This is one of the coolest things about the faith based market that I love so much. Right,
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
that the faith based people stick together. And so I took a book writing challenge from Bob, and He taught me about the challenge framework, but he sent me over to Pedro.
Mm.
And then the way that Pedro structured his first challenge, it didn't hit home the way that it could have, right? So I re-architected it and I sent him a video on how to do it, right? It turns out 6 videos later, Dean and Tony created Project Next Level, Project Next. They're doing the World
Mm.
Summit Tour. All the shit that I was drafting up for these guys so that they could present their stuff better
Yeah.
online and Facebook to serve their customers
Yeah.
better because they took the time to teach me, right? Because I provided them a way to teach their people for free
Yeah.
in specific environments to get the things that I was looking for in order to move the needle forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so by being able to provide something to them that is exactly what I needed to get from them, but in a context where they could make a bunch of money along the way,
Mm-hmm.
changes the game,
Yeah.
right? So you have to think about your business not as something so rigid as you get stuck in all of the things, right? You have to take a step back and you have to take in consideration of your actions. Now that you have this thing that you can teach, it's either going to be the simple schema of make a Loom video, record all and document everything, right? Like that entire thing is a schema lesson, right? That is one content piece that you can put into a digital course that demonstrates the entire thing that you offer people.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one conversation. What do you do with that conversation in context of other people's businesses?
Mm-hmm.
How do you apply your thing to what they're trying to do
Mm-hmm.
so that when they apply it, it sounds like them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But see, Dean didn't know hermetic principles.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't use these kinds of things beforehand. There was the whole circle and the dot moment. What's the dot? What's your
Mm-hmm.
dot? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah.
That's a hermetic principle. Where did
Mm-hmm.
that come from? Hi.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
No, that's really
Like,
good. Yeah, yeah. We can go more into this on another live. I just
oh yeah.
know that people don't know how much value there is here to this conversation. I mean, you're someone who has worked with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. You're someone who has shared with them ideas that they're teaching to an even larger audience because they have that star power branding, right? Like, this
Yes.
is so good. And what we're talking about is things that I know people are struggling with, but do they know where to find us? Well, I hope so. And if we stay consistent enough, they will find us. But we got to
Yeah,
consistently be focused on the service, right? Getting our message
exactly.
out there, sharing the information, sharing the value. Even though we're going live today, someone may find this live days from now, weeks from now, a month from now. And if they get value from it, they may reach out to you. They may reach out to me. Are they going to be a paying customer or client? Maybe, maybe not. But that's not the point. I feel that entrepreneurship is helping individuals with a specific outcome under your personal brand. Your goal, your mission, your vision should help people achieve that outcome, get closer to that goal, that outcome. And of course, if they want exclusive access to you, if they want more proximity to you, then that means that they are going to have to pay. But if not, then they consume some of your free content, some of your complimentary information to help them get closer to the outcome. And I feel what a lot of entrepreneurs get wrong is that they only want to serve, they only want to help, they only want to share information or knowledge when they're getting money. And I think that is a very short sighted way of thinking about entrepreneurship.
It is. It very much so is. And that's what breaks my heart about doing it. And that's why I love the letters and stuff that I written. It was like letters to friends because it was Bob, Pedro, Pete, Dean, Tony, Russell, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jason was the guy that basically created and perfected the webinar. That he's the guy
Mm-hmm.
that Zoom approached when COVID hit to do their branding and their marketing.
Oh, wow.
He's the guy
Yeah.
that worked with the people behind the secret and the delivery of all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the marketing guru who really is one of the best in the world at affiliate marketing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there is no Jason Fladman, Rapid Crush, like, that's all their shit, right? Like, that's what they do all day long. But I'm still able to help because there's still a way to organically structure everything and how to make it all fit together.
Mm-hmm.
Because your brand, your thing, your whatever, right? How does it serve the people that are interacting with it now? How will it serve people that will never meet you? How will it serve the people that use it in their own way? Three simple questions.
Mm-hmm.
How will this serve somebody who never knows me?
Mm-hmm.
Like how I got over in dealing with all this shit with Tony Robbins is because
Yeah.
I was tired of people telling me they hate him.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm tired of people telling me that they don't like what he stands for because he's got the billions. He's been serving people for 30 years. Of course, he's been doing it really, really good,
Yeah.
right? He's the guy to go to when it comes to like mindset and motivation and get your state right.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, you got nothing,
Mm.
right? If you're not in the right state, the right frame of physical mindset, like if your body isn't feeling it, you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got a really great, the programs he's got might be raw and whatnot. Like you go for 3 days at the UPW event, you're there, you're immersed, you want to do it, yeah, right. Because you're there and you're immersed in this emotional experience, you're more prompted to spend money on the thing, right? But it's the supplement to the thing that people forget to provide. Yeah, the event itself is important. But what's the long term?
Mm-hmm.
I want people that are going to go to my coaches and stuff that I've taught that are going to love what they've learned from those coaches. They're going to become
Mm-hmm.
in the industry. It's called champions, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna just talk boatloads of good about that brand,
Oh
like
yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Tony, Pete, Pat, all those guys, right? And that's how my client Mike is doing for me. That's how
Mm.
Daniel does for me.
Yeah.
Is they take up my message of my academy and teaching this stuff, right? And they're walking around their respective towns across the country,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just interacting as the thing, and then people come into the ecosystem and all that, right? Like it's a physical experience. It changes how people interact with other people when you break away from the rigidity of I'm just doing this for money.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
No, I
you're doing it
agree.
for
Yeah,
money.
yeah. You call it champions. I also refer to them as brand loyalists, brand advocates. They're your champions, like you said. They go around and they spread the influence that your brand, your business is all about. This is a
Right.
great conversation. I've really enjoyed this. I do have to wrap it up. I have to
Oh, I
hop
appreciate
off
it.
and jump on another Zoom. But for people who want to know more about you or connect with you more, where can they find out more
Uh,
information about how you help people?
so they can go to aoscourses.com.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a challenge coming up this week. You can go to aosalchemy.com. It's about transformation and stuff like that. I'll drop a link in the comments and stuff below once I get the video for the funnel finished up. But that should be
Sure.
here in the next hour or two. Um, but yeah, there's a thing we're going to do at 8 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be a free 5-day challenge. Justin, I invited you to come speak at that
Mm-hmm.
event. So you'll be there hopefully. And we'll,
I will.
you know,
Yeah.
get people question and answer so that way they can see a little bit behind this and we can work a little bit more on your branding and these concepts that you're working with because you're there, man. You're doing it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? It's just little touches.
Mm.
But I appreciate everybody that's watching. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And we'll have to chat again because this has been fun. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hour is like boom, it's gone. Like
I mean,
it's
yeah, I
great.
want to continue, but again, time restrictions. We'll pick it up where we left off next time. And you've heard it from Brian. If you're struggling in your business, you're not exactly sure how to progress forward, if you feel you're overwhelmed, you're not exactly sure what to implement for your scripting or your schema, reach out to Brian. He's the guy to talk to. He will help you out. Brian, thanks again, and we'll be connecting
Absolutely.
more shortly.
Stay safe and stay blessed, everybody. I'll chat with y'all later.